We are here today to come and open the discussion, informally, non-committal, for us to host the 2036 Olympics in South Africa, for Africa. That's why we are here. There are a bunch of winners. I told Danny and them, listen, if you don't qualify for the African Nations Cup, if you don't qualify for the World Cup, you must not depend on any support from us. Yeah. They've jumped the first hurdle. I think it's the hard conversations that we're going to have next year. You can't be jealous of rugby if your sports code is struggling. Yeah. And people ask me another question I bring up. They say, hey, Jordaan has been arrested. What are you going to do about it? Listen, cricket, I'm sending Rasi to go and speak to the cricket people about transformation very soon. And let there be one person in cricket that goes against that. For me to just leave without finishing this, it will be such a travesty.
Welcome everybody to a special edition of the So Here's Something Interesting podcast. And we have a special edition, and we also have a very special guest. We've got the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture in South Africa, Mr. Gayton McKenzie. Sir, how are you today?
Very good. How are you, sir?
Very, very well. The weather's a bit tricky though.
Well, you know what, I'm happy. This is actually the first time I'm getting real snow.
Real snow.
Real snow.
For context, we are in Lausanne, in Switzerland, and the Minister has graciously given us an opportunity to tag along, to see the work that happens within the department, but also to give you a look into some of the amazing things that are happening. I don't know, but I think by the time that you watch this podcast, a very important announcement, which we're going to speak about, will have already gone out. And I know that there will be a lot of excitement. So we've got the Minister here to have a deeper conversation around what is going on around sports in South Africa, but particularly key sports events, global events, that I know that you guys will be really excited to know about. Minister, I think I want to start off by saying what has been quite interesting on this trip, having been here with you, has been the level of workload, work ethic that you've been able to get through. I don't think a lot of ministers do allow this type of access. We've had a lot of access to you, and we've really seen what a lot you put in. I want to start off with our meeting that we had with the IOC. I want you to give us an understanding around where South Africa is in terms of the standards, because I think at times, as the Global South, we have a different way of seeing these global bodies. It's got a little bit of friction when we kind of think about it. But I want you to give us what the purpose of this meeting was, and also what our standing with the IOC is currently.
All right. No, thank you very much. And for me, you know, I want to be as transparent as possible. And I want people like yourself, you educate people through your mediums. First and foremost, you know, one thing when I took over as minister, I realized that there's still some sort of sports discrimination happening. Let me elaborate. You have the F1. There's 7 or 8 F1s in Europe, but none in the whole continent of Africa. Olympics, never been to Africa. UFC, never been to Africa. And same with volleyball. And I can go on and on and on and on. Now, they can't come and say we can't organize. Yeah. Because we've organized the best soccer World Cup. Best. And I mean like the best one. So we've organized the Rugby World Cup. We've organized the Cricket World Cup. So there's a disconnect. And me being Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, I said, this is what I'm going to fight. I'm going to put us back on the map. I'm going to make sure we are part of big events. I'm going to make sure we form part of the calendar. Because there can be equal participation, but there's not equal organizing. We are here today to come and open the discussion, informally, non-committal, for us to host the 2036 Olympics in South Africa, for Africa. That's why we are here.
South Africa is on the brink of a historic moment, if everything goes our way, that is. Today, in the heart of Lausanne, Switzerland, a delegation led by the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, is at the International Olympic Committee, the IOC's headquarters. They've just taken a bold step. South Africa has officially expressed its interest in hosting the Olympic Games, potentially in 2036 or 2040. On top of that, South Africa is looking at becoming a bigger player in the volleyball space, and there are massive plans underfoot. But the Olympic dream isn't just a dream. It's a calculated move from us and the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, driven by South Africa's sporting and developmental aspirations. Look, the major thing around the Olympics has and always will be money. And the IOC's recent shift in financial models and its approach to hosting the Games in a much more cost-effective and sustainable way has opened up new possibilities for countries like ours in the global south. Gone are the days of single city burdens. Now cities, regions and entire nations can share the responsibility and the rewards of hosting the Games. To me personally, hosting the Olympics would be a game changer for South Africa. The economic impact would be immense. From infrastructure development to job creation, the ripple effects would be felt across the entire country. Tourism would boom. For instance, when you look at France, the Olympics brought a 4% boost for the city and the region. Now, for context, France, and in particular the city of Paris, gets around 47.5 million visitors per year. 4% must seem small, but when you put that into context, that's 1.9 million people who visited during and because of the Olympics. We as South Africa already have a large part of the infrastructure part sorted out. And having been in the IOC meeting myself, I got to understand that there is a new feeling around the Olympics. There's a new feeling around how things should work going forward. Now, if we're smart, which I think we are, we could look to make the Olympics a 3-city endeavor, with maybe Durban being the whole city supported by Cape Town and Johannesburg. That would be different. Actually, let us know in the comments, which South African cities do you think could host the Olympics and for which sports? How would we cut it up? There are a few key issues that the IOC is committed to doing and doing really well going forward for possible host countries. First on that list is that there's now an 80% reduction in the cost for countries that are looking to host the Games. Putting a bid document together is expensive. The IOC will now carry this cost because they really know what they're looking for, not the consultants. It is true that many cities in the past have invested millions of dollars in evaluating, preparing and submitting these bid documents to the IOC. The cost of planning and organizing these bid documents previously fell between 50 and 100 million US dollars. That's like 900 million rand and 1.8 billion. Tokyo spent $150 million in its failed 2016 bid. That's like 2.7 billion rand. And they spent about half of that for their successful 2020 bid. So this new way of bidding for the Games is set to be a whole lot cheaper. Number two, there's also now no need for countries to build infrastructure that will become white elephants post the Games. Innovations shown by countries like France and Paris have shown that you can use temporary venues that can be dismantled after or even moved to new places. Number three, the other addition is that the lead time for the Games and the time that countries have to prepare is normally around 7 years, but the IOC is now looking at an 11 to 12 year cycle in awarding lead times to give countries time to prepare themselves. Number four, the IOC no longer wants countries to build anything that they weren't going to build anyway. This changes things. It changes them a lot. Construction is often a major part of why the Games cost so much money in the first place. When you look at Paris 2024, it would have been more profitable if they didn't try to clean up the Seine River for 1.5 billion euro. That's just one example, but on the other hand, they felt like they needed to do that. But the benefits extend far beyond the economy. The Olympic benefits. The Games would unite us as a nation. For those that were there leading up to 2010, you surely must remember what that period felt like. We were the expectant hosts and we were geared up to welcome the world. The Olympics inspire a new generation of athletes who would have 12 years to get ready before 2036 or 2040. The Olympics coming to South Africa would be a platform to showcase South Africa's rich culture, its diversity, and also would cement our place in the world. For South African sports, this is a golden opportunity. For African sports, our athletes would have the world-class facilities to start training and competing. The Games would ignite a passion for sports and they would inspire young people to dream big and to also reach for the stars. Isn't that something worth pushing for? Okay, since you're here, I know that you want to look and want to know about the money. So let's get into that. See, what's clear here about the Olympics is that in the past, nations have been the ones that have put themselves in a corner by wanting to build new things that they don't really need. Thus, the cost of hosting these Games has become insanely expensive in the past. For the first time in a long time, Paris 2024 is set to be a profitable venture because of this new approach. When you take the case of Paris, they had a budget of 8 to 9 billion euro. And for the first time, 90+% of that budget was privately funded, and this has set France on a path to likely profitability when the games report comes out. Now, this is looking like it's going to be around 12 billion euro. Now, because I want to give you a full picture, let's look at the other side. The previous games have been seen as vanity projects that have gotten out of hand for other nations. For example, when you look at Beijing's 2008 Summer Olympics, they generated $3.6 billion in revenue compared with over $40 billion in costs. And the Tokyo delayed Summer Games generated $5.8 billion in revenue and $13 billion in costs. So Paris 2024, as the way that we see it, is a money game changer going into the future. Hosting the Olympics would undoubtedly elevate South Africa's global standing. It would strengthen our diplomatic ties, and also it would showcase our commitment to peace, unity, and to human rights. So I say, let's rally behind this historic bid as a country, as an entire nation. Let's have something to work towards in 12 or even 16 years. Let's bring the world to South Africa, not for awareness, but for money and for the infrastructure. Consider that there are projects that need about South Africa's potential bid to try and get the 2036 or the 2040 Olympic Games. I also got to speak to the minister on other topics of concern. I hope you get to stick around for the rest of the interview. Check it out. Minister, we're still talking about corporate participation and what needs to happen from a corporate perspective and what needs to happen from a public perspective, from a governmental perspective. Give us the lay of the land there and who needs to do what and by when.
I think firstly, corporates has really been blamed for nothing. People expect corporates to put in money in a bucket that's leaking. You can't have, some of the federations are naughty, some are just corrupt. They don't account for the money that they've been given. They don't account for the monies that have been given, so you expect corporates to keep on giving. Now what we're doing with Operation 350 is to make sure corporates are part of how the money gets spent. They're right there. The money is coming, they're there, they take the decisions that the money must reach the athlete. When they give $10, sometimes $1 reaches the athlete. You don't even know what's happening in between with that money. This time we want $9 at least minimum to reach the athlete. We want the money to be used for what the intended purposes. And so I think corporates are excited with the GNU. I see it with the many phone calls I'm getting. Corporates are excited with the GNU. Corporates want to get involved. We are going to streamline. We're going to get them involved. I just think that our future is bright when it comes to sports funding.
Now, with regards to volleyball specifically, an opportunity exists where South Africa has the possibility of really becoming a major player on the African continent when it comes to volleyball. The willingness of associations to now discuss and be more open with South Africa with regards to the role that they need to play on the African continent relative to nascent sports like volleyball, which need to still grow. What is your feeling around some of the conversations that you're having with the federation, like the International Volleyball Foundation?
No, very good feeling. You know, volleyball is one of the 5 codes I intend to really push very hard because it doesn't take a lot of money to really, you know, this is not tennis. This is not rowing. A child in a landlocked province basically can't do rowing. There's no sea or where there's no sea or there's no proper dams. It stays far from it. But with volleyball, it's more accessible. You can put in minimum investment and get big returns. Now I've met with the president, the new elected president of volleyball. We are going back now. We are going to make sure that with the school sports memorandum we've signed, that volleyball is one of those codes that goes into the school sport memorandum that we've signed to bring sports back to schools. And that for me gives me great excitement. Because somewhere out there, you know, is a star.
Yes.
Or stars for that matter. You just need the right motivation. You need the right leadership, and that's what we want to do. I'm excited. We're going to bring big events to South Africa. We want to bring volleyball, we want to bring the F1, we want to bring the UFC, we want to bring the Olympics. Those are all the events that we are working on. You've had a front row seat to say I've never been, since I came to Switzerland, I've never been to the shop even. You know, it has been meeting after meeting
yes.
after meeting. I've never been to the shop.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to go buy a coat. I'm still without a coat.
He's still without a coat and gloves. There was an issue of gloves. Now, Minister, so that we can bring this to a head, so that people can understand it, I think at times there is a disconnect between efforts that are done in ministries like yours and how it translates on the ground. Now, just to give a little bit of context around this, there was a piece that we had done around the impact of sports in South Africa and what it does. 50 plus billion as an estimate, as a low estimate, was the number that we found in terms of the impact. 600,000 plus people are employed within the sports industry, coaches, physios, etc., referees, everybody who's involved in multitudes of sports. The sports tourism market in South Africa is one that has been, I believe, underexplored in the past. What are some of the efforts to really, then once you've brought these events here, to really get the rest of the machine going?
No, definitely. You know, that makes the GNU so exciting because we talk about these things. We sit there. It's not politics. It is the country first. And you know, let me just show you with Hungary. Hungary's Grand Prix brought in, there was 300,000 people in the fan parks, paddocks, in the spectators' seats. 100,000 of them are locals. 200,000 of people coming from outside.
Wow.
You have sports science, you have sports tourism, you have the business of sport. Sports is long graduated from just being about sport. Sports a business, sports, you even have sport arts now.
Yes.
It's brilliant. And sports is a unifier. It makes nations become socially cohesive. Sports is what we are good at as South Africans. And when you look at visas and those type of stuff, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's a problem that I think we are in a position to sort out. We can sit and we say, we're having this event. I mean, like now, you're in a meeting when we discuss the different bids for the volleyball. And I said, no, but if you're going to do that, you have to put in your conference. Take it to South Africa also.
Yeah.
That's a,
That was a masterclass.
yes. I said, but you got to put in your conference that you're having to South Africa also. That's 800 people coming.
Yeah.
Now I need to go back to the Minister of Sport, the Minister of Tourism, and say to her, Ms. Dalil,
Yeah.
we got these people coming. I need to go to the Minister of Home Affairs. Here's the list. These people mustn't struggle for visas. You understand what I'm saying? We need to make it seamless and easy. We want to bring people because those dollars and euros, they are coming with great jobs and opportunities in the country.
Brilliant. Now, as we wind down, there's always been a conversation around the sexier sports in South Africa. The top three and then the rest. Now, how are we moving to grow the other sports? Specifically, you could even say the other sports plus the Olympics in prominence versus these top three. And how do we use what has worked in the top three to then grow domestic leagues, support players a lot more, and also compete on the continent as well as globally?
I think it's the hard conversations that we're going to have next year. You can't be jealous of rugby if your sports code is struggling. I'm sending the president of rugby to come and help them. I'm sending the president that are successful to come and help them not so successful. They must, it's not about ego, somebody's ego here. Then they must resign. You need to know what is it that rugby is doing for rugby to win like that. What is it that rugby is doing for so much transformation? Cricket, I'm sending Rasi to go and speak to the cricket people about transformation very soon. And let there be one person in cricket that goes against that. I will not go with that nonsense. Because a wrong message is being sent out that black people can't play the sport of cricket. You can't send that message out. That's what the cricket people are sending out. Very soon I'm sending Rasi Erasmus to go and address them. And I'm warning it already. To address them, to say, how do you achieve transformation without offending no one? You see the pipeline that Rasi Erasmus has there. It's a pipeline of young aspirant players. Now you come tell me here we must, it's just a lily white team. It's wrong. And then those people in cricket South Africa have been very patient. I'm still patient, but my patience will soon run out. We need everybody to feel that that's their team. I'm still patient with them, but my patience is soon going to run out.
What are some of the things that you want to achieve within your term that people can hold you accountable for? Because I've seen that you love accountability. I've seen being on the ground with you. I've seen that you like to really put your neck out there and say, this I will get done. So what are those core things that South Africans who are watching this can say, the minister has committed to this, this, and this, and if he achieves these things, we'll give him an A+.
F1, Olympics, UFC, power slap, volleyball, championship. Those are the things I said during my term, the major ticket events I want to bring to South Africa. I want to bring art and culture. I want to start a Mandela Museum, a proper Mandela Museum.
Like a national museum?
Yes. No, I want to start a Mandela Museum. Specifically for Mandela and his freedom fighters. The president has given me instruction to do a Heroes Acre. I want to construct a Heroes Acre. I want to bring VAR next year.
Please.
VAR,
Please, Minister.
I'm going to make the money available. Everybody asks me, when is VAR coming? Let me tell you for the first time. It's coming in April next year. I will make money available for VAR.
Brilliant.
To bring it to our soccer, our football, because it's needed. I want to turn community halls into theaters for children. I want the child that don't have money to be able to play any sports, no matter how much their sport costs. I want to take 350 athletes to the Paralympics and to the Olympics. And I want to make sure that our museums are coming out of the Stone Age into the Golden Age. And I want to fix our museums. I want to fix our heritage sites in South Africa, like Robben Island. It's a mess. Like Lily's Leaf Farm, it's a mess. And those are the things that, and I want to start bringing the library to children. Like children here don't need to visit the library. They just open the Kindles and stuff and they can read any book. And that's what I want to achieve in my term. And I know I'm going to achieve those things. And people sometimes must understand that I'm a man on a mission. I'm going to achieve those things. That's why I put them out there. Yeah. So you can tick the box and say, but Minister, you said you're going to achieve 1, 2, 3. You didn't even achieve one.
Finally, Minister, before I let you go, a very interesting question popped up around longevity and in one of the meetings that we had. And you made a bold statement that said, if the president came to you and said, that portfolio you wanted, that Home Affairs or the police is on the table, what was your answer in that meeting?
My answer was very simple, to say that I would ask him, let me finish the work here, please, President. Let me finish the work I've started. Because, I've started such important work that for me to just leave without finishing this, it will be such a travesty. I mean, I'm speaking to F1. Yeah. I'm speaking to Dana White at UFC. I'm speaking to Dana Power Slap. I'm speaking to WWE Raw. I forgot to even mention that one. Yeah. I'm talking about physical meetings. Yeah. I'm speaking to the Olympic Committee. You were in the meeting now when I spoke to the president of the volleyball. I'm literally speaking. This is not pie in the sky things. I make contact with all those people. Next week I'm meeting F1. So this is not, I want to do this. The meetings already, the minutes already being taken. Remove or move. Yes, I want to. Once I have all those things, I'm like, move me, President. Reshuffle me. I've done what I need to do. I want to make South Africa proud. I want to make the GNU proud. I want to show people that sports is a unifier, like rugby has unified this country in ways that I'm so proud of. I also want to say that, well done to Bafana Bafana.
Yes.
Bafana Bafana has made it, Danny and them there. I told them, They're a bunch of winners. They are a bunch of winners. I told Danny and them, listen, if you don't qualify for the African Nations Cup, if you don't qualify for the World Cup, you must not depend on any support from us.
Yeah.
They've jumped the first hurdle.
Yeah.
And people ask me another question I bring up. They say, hey, Dennis Jordaan has been arrested. What are you going to do about it? Listen, it's a very fine line for me. I'm not, I can get involved in football, but I must not be seen to interfere.
Yeah.
So what I've done, I've asked for a meeting with the president of FIFA to hear what I should be doing in a matter like this.
Because there needs to be separation between the
Government and that.
the association.
So I can't just go in there and say, Danny, go. Then FIFA says, oh, you're interfering.
Yes.
We're suspending South Africa. The very same people that tells me, get rid of Danny. It's the same people who say, Bona, look at McKenzie also. Look at McKenzie, he chased us away now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's a fine line for me, but I want to be transparent that I've asked to see Mr. Infantini so that I can be guided by FIFA what must happen in matters like this.
Yeah.
Because his own federation, SAFA, they're supporting him still.
Yeah.
They're supporting him. Who am I now to come and interfere there?
Yeah.
Then they will write and say I'm interfering.
And say you're an outsider.
Yes,
Yeah.
but to Bafana Bafana, well done. To the coach, well done. He has done very, very well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. McKenzie, thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. Please don't miss your flight. And hopefully very soon we'll be making more big announcements.
Definitely.
Cheers. Thank you.
Salute. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.